And sitting across from me once again, all the way from the Bronx. That's right. Am I right about that?
The BX, baby.
The BX. It's Mickey Factz.
Smicky.
2009 XXL Freshman.
Amen.
That's what's up, man. So how you been doing?
Man, I've been good, man. Been on the road with little bro Alfred Banks, hitting these cities, touching the people, you know what I'm saying? Just finished doing the Flex Freestyle and putting out my project, the new museum and the Achievement Deluxe.
Right on. So yeah, I listened to that Flex Freestyle.
Come on now.
Yeah, I need to work on that.
Say that 6 times, Factz.
Yeah, that's a tongue twister right there.
Yeah.
So you got a little part in there. You were explaining to people how credit works.
Yeah.
So why do you think that's an important message to get out there? And what was your intention behind that long stretch where you just start talking about credit?
Well, I mean, initially I had wrote a different freestyle for Flex when it came to that. But after seeing Black Thought up there, I was like, man, I got to do something that's informative for the people. So I already had that verse written, so I just kind of tucked it in between the middle of the verse that I had wrote for Flex. But initially, when I wrote that verse, I was giggling writing it because I knew that people would either love it or they would hate it, being that I took that opportunity to do it on a big platform. But when you consider it, you know, they don't teach that to people in junior high school or high school, and it is a very big important part of our lives. And I felt like, you know, using that knowledge on the platform was essential to kind of, you know, teach and hopefully encourage people to treat their credit with more care.
Right. And so the gist, if you had to sum up everything, just so people will look it up, what's the message, like, what's the thesis of that part? Like, you're telling people how to control credit and not abuse it, basically?
Yeah, I mean, basically not to abuse it and to treat it with care. You know, you want to be able to do certain things in life, you know, even if you have, I mean, cash is king, we all know that, but sometimes people don't have the cash to make things happen. And people want to know that your credit is on point. And even from a street perspective, like, if you got good credit in the street, like good street cred, you know, people kind of vouch for you. And that's the same thing in the business world and of finance. And you have to have good credit in order to get jobs, you know, cars, homes, everything. And I felt like it was my, you know, duty to make sure to get that message across to every person, genre, and race. Right on.
So, you know a lot about business. You've been in the music business for a long time.
Yeah.
So a long time ago, well, not that long ago, 2009, you had a couple singles come out on Jive Records.
Shout out to Jive.
Yeah. if they could see your face right now when you said that.
Yeah, you know, I mean, but you know, I don't want to blame everything on Jive. They folded. They were really behind my project. It's just that they folded. You know what I'm saying? So when they folded, we all got moved to different places. Like I was labelmates with Justin Timberlake and Chris Brown.
Right.
So, you know, I got moved to RCA. But when I was on Jive, they treated me well, man. We had the Paradise record. We had the For the Culture record with Marsha Ambrosius.
Right.
The Paradise remix with Bun B and Fat Joe. We were gearing up for Dreamland with B.O.B. at the time. And, you know, I was working on different things with Miguel and Justin Timberlake. So, you know, there was some traction and movement going, but they just folded. So that, you know, I just had to roll with the punches with that.
Right on. So we're going to come back, but I want to use that to seg into your new album. This is, what label is this? Is this an independent release?
Yeah, this is an independent release with distribution through Soul Spasm and War Media. Shout out to my man, James Drew and Guy Rute. This is called The Achievement. What song we going to play first, man? What's this?
Let's see what I got queued up here.
And Nottz produced the whole project, by the way.
Yeah. I'm a fan of Nottz. First time I heard Nottz was he did a little album with Cannabis back in the day.
Oh, man. Wow.
So what's it like working with one producer the whole time?
I mean, the sound is always going to be the same, so that's always a blessing. You don't go away from that particular theme of the project. You kind of know what you're going to get. I really loved working with Nottz because it was as easy as pie, picking the tracks and making sure everything was cohesive. So it was good for me, man, and I can't wait to just have as many people hear it as possible. So what's this first track you got here lined up?
We got I'm Good queued up.
Oh, yeah, I'm Good. This was actually the last record that we recorded for the project, which was actually the second single off the project, and it's actually one of my favorite songs off the project, too.
Right on. So if you're just not tuning in, I'm here with Mickey Factz. He's playing at Maison tomorrow with Alfred Banks.
Yep.
And some other people, Sleazy Easy.
Made Groceries.
Made Groceries. And that's going to be at Maison tomorrow night. And we're going to play some of his new album. This is I'm Good by Mickey Factz, produced by Nottz.
I'm good.
Here we go.
Cup counting up, I don't do much. Roof in the trunk, put the luggage in the front. Polo cup, let a brother stunt. From the jump.
That was dope. If you're just now tuning in, I'm here with Mickey Factz, who is the author of that last record we just played.
It's Mickey.
And that was called I'm Good. So, what was your inspiration in making that one?
I felt like we needed a banger for the album. So I was just scrolling through Nott's Instagram. If anybody follows Nottz on Instagram, you know he posts like 20 beats a day.
Yeah.
So I just kind of was scrolling and I heard the beat and I was like, man, it sounds like some car music, some chill car music. So let me make a car record.
Right on.
That was just kind of chill, you know what I'm saying? Like, because I can get lyrical all day long, but I wanted something that everybody could kind of vibe to, and it could potentially hit radio. So I just did it in my own style and in my own way, and people really loved it and gravitated towards it.
Right on. So some stuff I heard you say in the Flex Freestyle. You were like, I'm not doing my job unless Flex is making faces at me.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry to keep bringing up Cannabis, but towards the end, you're like, I'm bringing it back to Cannabis Nori, that infamous freestyle session they did.
Oh, man.
And I was going to use that. Back then, it seemed like there was a thinner line between battle rap and what's, mainstream recording.
Right.
So you're one of the few artists I've seen actually throw your hat back into the battle rap ring.
Yeah.
And so you battled Daylyt at King of the Dot, and it was a very interesting battle because I haven't been keeping up on battle rap, but
Right.
I see Daylyt. I hear people, this guy's the truth. This guy's the best battle rapper, and like honestly, he was incoherent. I didn't get it, and like it just seemed like you came ready for war,
Right.
And he just had some other ideas talking about what's something he said. Your imitation of him was something like
Gibberish?
if I could wink with my ghetto eyes, we'd be hoodwinked. But it wasn't very battle-like. It didn't seem like it was directed at you. Much of that was directed at you at all.
I mean, I went in there with the notion that I can do this. I can do any type of hip-hop. Whether it's battling, whether it's freestyle ciphering, whether it's off the top of the dome rapping, whether it's making records, pop records, R&B records, rapping over any and everything possible. When I went into that battle, I wanted to showcase that side of what I can do when it pertains to being an MC. And for whatever reason, Daylyt chose to try to teach the fan base of battle rap something about saying hello in different languages. And I feel like that's like going to a Spanish class and trying to teach them Russian.
Right.
That's just not the platform for that. And I feel like on that platform, I was able to do that style of rapping on that platform and just leave it at what it was and continue to do what it is that I do, which is make feel-good music, informational music, and same thing with my freestyles, witty punchlines, metaphors, wordplay, double entendres, triple entendres, even quadruples, and just trying to, showcase that talent, and I don't know if he was on that wavelength when it came to the battle.
Yeah, I didn't think so either. But I also saw something you did with him and Lupe.
Yeah.
I know he's on your new album, so obviously y'all are friends.
Yeah, I mean, Daylyt is my man. You know what I'm saying? It's just he wanted to battle, man. I didn't want to do that, man. Like, he wanted to do that. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, yo, this is what I do, man. Like, I'm from this particular era. And even when I introduced him to Lupe on that video that you're talking about, like, you know, he knew what it was, man. You seen it on, I mean, like, I went up there and got crazy, and so crazy, you know, Lou was like, yo, all right, that's enough, you know what I'm saying? Because I could go on forever and ever, you know what I mean? So, like, for me, I just like to showcase what I grew up on and try to push the culture forward as much as possible, and using competition as the measuring stick for the excitement of what hip-hop is about, you know what I mean? So that's why I do what I do.
So your first project that got a lot of people's attention was In Search of...
NERD.
Right. So before that, did you battle a lot when you were growing up in the Bronx and stuff?
Yeah. From like 1999 to about 2006, it was like constant war. Like, consider it like gang war with the Bloods and the Crips in LA. Like, you go on the wrong block and you were liable to be engaging in some type of combat, man. That's what it was in New York City at that time. You couldn't walk a block or two in Harlem without stopping and kind of rapping with somebody, whether it was a cypher or it was a battle, but most times it turned into a battle. And there was so many different MCs around that time, from, you know, Murder Mook to Lux and Rex and Charlie Clips, all these guys that, you know, the battle fans may know. But in terms of just rapping, that's what we did all day, every day, you know what I'm saying? And I wouldn't take that back for the world.
So when you stepped away from it for a while, when you went back, did you prepare a lot, or did we just kind of like, I can just turn the switch on and go back to where it was? Or
I mean, it was a lot of preparation. I mean, it's different from making a project or an album. You kind of have to constantly go over it. It's a lot of repetition. It's a lot of training from a mental standpoint. I mean, you know, I wrote a lot. I edited a lot. I wanted to make sure every line was as potent as possible, so that nobody could ever say anything to me in regards to what it was that I was delivering. And I think it came across extremely well. I mean, I was voted Performance of the Year for King of the Dot, and I won the award. So, I mean, and I'm not a battle rapper, you know what I'm saying? I just happen to do it because I can.
right on. Yeah, I mean, I didn't know you to be a battle rapper, but I was very shocked and impressed with what I saw there.
That's love.
Yeah. So, you got a lot of people on your new album, and you've recorded with a lot of people in the past. Some of the names of your new album, you have Royce the 5'9", of course.
Woo!
Fonte.
Woo!
Styles P. Smoke Dizza and Currency.
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
how did you pick these guests in your album, and you know, like,
Man,
just kind of came together that way, or did you seek these out? Did you have a record like, I want this guy to be on this record, or how'd that come down?
I was on Nottz Instagram picking these beats, and people were saying I can hear Currency on this record, or somebody would say I can hear Fonte on this record, or somebody would say I can hear Styles P on this record, and I would just reach out to these guys, and being that I've done so much in the game, they were like, yeah, let's do it and let's work, without no hesitation, no talk back or anything. And we just made a lot of it work. I'm just happy and blessed to be able to make that happen, you know what I'm saying? And even with the deluxe version, getting Pharoah Monch on the record, getting Nick Grant on the record, and Skyzoo and Stolly on the same record, that was big for me.
Right on. We got this record right here. It's Versus featuring Styles P.
Yes. Shout out to my OG Styles.
That's what's up. What can you tell me about this one?
Well, you know, this was like...
Y'all got busy.
Oh.
Have you heard this record yet?
Yeah, I listened to it earlier.
I mean, this was a scary record. I mean, initially it was supposed to be Asher Roth on it, but he was too busy. And then I reached out to King Los to get on it, and he said he couldn't make it happen. So
because Asher has a strong relationship with Nottz, right?
Yeah. But you know, Styles came in. He was like, "Yo, let's do this." You know, I asked him. I was like, "Yo, can we do 8 bars a piece for like 4 or 5 times?" And he was like, "Yeah, let's do it." and we went at it. And you know, he took a couple shots at me on a couple of his verses, but that's the OG. So I kind of had to let it rock and just take it on the chin and like a smart young veteran.
Right.
And you know, this is what you about to hear, man. Versus me and Styles, man. It's a double entendre title because it's me and him going back and forth like an actual like battle. But it's also a lot of verses.
Good spirited jousting.
Yeah, it's like, you know, like American Gladiators kind of. You know what I'm saying?
On. I mean, listening to it from that perspective, I'm interested in hearing from that perspective right now. Here we go. If you're just now tuning in, I'm with Mickey Factz and Alfred Banks also hanging out with us. They're playing at Maison tomorrow night at 9, and we're about to listen to a song off his new record, The Achievement. It's called Verses, and it features Styles P from the Locks, y'all. Here you go.
Failure's not a sliding board, it's a seesaw. Facts, it's in my name, I'm a teacher. General in the Peace War and Peace Corps. Only time you next to I is on the.
And we're back, and I listened to that record with a totally new perspective because
you ain't know I could rap.
Yeah, no, I knew you could rap. I didn't picture that as a battle between two gentlemen, and it's exactly what it was. You know, a little light, good-spirited jousting, as I said earlier. So before I go any further, let me read the calendar really quickly. If you're looking for something to do Thursday night, Circle Bar at 7, Dark Lounge featuring Rick Slave. At 7:30, Tipitina's, Loyola All-Stars, Uptown Throwdown, doors at 7. At 8, Snug Harbor, Matt Lemier, CD release PO with additional show at 10. 8 at House of Blues, Front 242, plus Azar Swan, plus Glitchback. At 8 at Gossa Gossa, it's Honey, Salt, and Static Mask, plus TVP and Relatives. 9, Siberia has Eastern Block Party, Inner Fire Districts, and Salt Wives. 10 at Circle Bar has Bloodstains Across Louisiana Part 2, DJ Howie. And at 10, One Eye Jacks, Fast Times, Best of the 80s and 90s. All right, we're back. Just now tuning in. It's WTUL New Orleans. We got Mickey Factz and Alfred Banks in the house.
Yes, sir.
So, yeah, we've just heard the song you did with Styles P.
Yeah.
Over the years, you've done stuff with a lot of people. You got a record out with Drake on it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What's the story behind that one?
Man,
I've told it a million times, I'm sure, but
yeah, you know, it's all good. Drake was a MySpace artist at the time. He was still doing Degrassi, and the producer named Omen reached out to me to get on a record with him. Actually, he reached out to me first to say, "Yo, we want to get." He wants to get Travis McCoy on a record from the Gym Class Heroes. And it just so happens that I had just did a remix with Travis and the Fallout Boys with Kanye and Lil Wayne for This Ain't a Scene, It's an Arms Race. So we did the Arms Race remix together. So me and Travis have a really, really good relationship. So I reached out to Travis. Travis was down. So then Omen was like, yo, I got this Canadian rapper named Drake that I want to put on a record. And I was like, yeah, I've heard of Drake. He's pretty dope. So let's do it. So we did the record, and then me and Drake was in contact with each other for a long time. This was like before So Far Gone and everything. But you know, he at that time he was like, "Yo, Mick, man, I just want to get on a blog, bro." Because at the time, blogs ran the world. He said, "Man, I just want to get on Nah Right. I just want to get on Two Dope Boys, bro." And I was like, "Yo, I got you." And I made it happen for him. You know what I'm saying? And you know, up until things got really haywire and hectic for him, I haven't spoken to him since around that time, you know what I'm saying? But I know if he was to see me or we would have run paths with each other, it would be a lot of respect because, you know, I, assisted in people getting to know who he was before anybody kind of knew who he was at that time, you know what I mean?
right on. There's also some floating around with you and Kendrick out there.
Yeah, I did 2 records with Kendrick too. One was called Rapidy Rap. And Kendrick still follows me on Twitter, still follows me on Instagram. Like, I remember calling him after he laid his verse down, like, "Yo, you a punk for doing what you did," because he heard my verse first and then just decided to black out on the record. But then I got him back on XXL. It was me, Currency, Kendrick, and my man Daylyt. We did a record together, and I just kind of blacked on.
You're all there the same year, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, it was a good record, you know. So I got 2 records with Kendrick and 2 records with Drake, you know.
I know.
The homies.
And so yeah, those are the 2 the biggest rappers in the world right now.
Yeah.
And you've done stuff with a lot of other people. But,
Tons.
Who's somebody that's your absolute favorite experience working with?
Honestly, it's between John Legend and Royce the 5'9". Those were the two records that both artists were just so accommodating, especially at their level. John Legend was on tour with Sade, and he was like, yo, I want to do a record with Mickey on his day off. Like, that was huge for me. I thought that was very humbling for me. Actually, it still feels surreal to this day. It feels like it didn't happen, but it really did happen. And obviously, Royce, we shot a video, and he just was the most accommodating person ever to shoot that video with.
Right on, yeah. I'm a huge fan of Royce. That's cool. So you've been on tour with our local guy here, Alfred.
Yeah, Banks.
What is it that you saw at Alfred to take him on tour, you know?
Alfred, being from New York, we are go-getting city. And we got to go get what we got to get. I feel like Alfred's spirit is in New York City, and his body resides in Louisiana. The kid is just the hardest worker I've ever met. And I like his drive. I like what he brings to the table from a music standpoint, and then from a business standpoint, he just overexceeds the expectations of what an indie artist is supposed to do. So, bringing him on the tour always enlightens me from a person who's been in the game since 2006. I always learn something being on the road with him, and vice versa. You know what I'm saying? Like, he learns a lot just from my bad choices, good choices, what to do, what not to do. So we kind of complement each other on the road, and there's no ego on my end, and there's no young mentality on his end. We just kind of work very well together. So whenever it's like, yo, let's hit the road, I have no quarrels or discrepancies with it. And right now we got the Maison coming up tomorrow, and he'll be hosting this one. He won't be opening, he'll be hosting it, and we'll be out there tomorrow night. And you can expect a lot of great stuff from me. This is the second leg of the tour, so I'm gonna be changing up the set a little bit. And obviously we in New Orleans, which is my favorite city. We're going to have a good time tomorrow.
Alfred, so you're only hosting this time, huh?
Indeed I am.
How come you elected to do that?
Well, I just recently did a gig here, and so I kind of want the focus to be on Mick.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I actually like hosting more than I like rapping.
Oh, really?
I don't believe that.
I don't believe it either, but
yeah,
I like hosting.
air quotes there.
I like hosting. And shout out to my girl Callie, who put everything together. I just thought I want to be a part of the show. I just can't be a part of it from a performance standpoint. But being that I am on tour with Factz, I got to be a part of it, so I want to host. And I feel like the lineup is incredible. You know what I'm saying? I believe this is the first show upstairs in Maison in about 4 years.
Oh, yeah.
That joint closed. It went down for renovation. They just never opened back up. So I think this is like the first show back upstairs. So it's going to be live. I'm very excited. Last time I was in this venue, I won like a Reverb Nation contest to open for the Locks, which was cool. So like to come back, and I think the first time I ever brought you down to
you got to open for Mickey Factz, Buddy, Styles P.
Yeah, it was tight. And I think the first time I ever brought Mickey down to New Orleans was at Maison. So this is kind of like a full circle.
That was actually a really good show.
Yeah, it was live as hell. So
I love Maison. It's just an iconic venue. It's on Treme, the TV show.
Of course. And it's on Freshman Street, one of the most busiest streets in the city.
Right.
And so, yeah, man, tomorrow night, 9 p.m. at the Maison, we got Mickey Factz, hosted by Alfred Banks. We got Made Groceries. We got my man Chad Conquering Lion. My girl Sleazy Easy's doing her thing. Got my man James Seville. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be live 95. I am very excited. Touring with Factz is always, I learn a lot. Like he said, I learn a lot from him. Picking his brain as much as I do. And the fact that he's cool with me picking his brain as often as I do and giving me as much game as he has is really cool, man. And it's an honor. You know what I'm saying? Also, him keeping me up, because, like, driving back late at night could be a B word. So, shouts to him for talking and keeping me up. You know what I'm saying? That's my guy, man. So it's an honor, and pretty much whatever he needs, I got it, and I try to hold him down when he's in my hometown. You know what I'm talking about?
I know a lot of musicians. My dad's a musician, and I can tell you that finding somebody you could travel with is a very rare thing.
Yeah.
Hold on to it, because that's You know, that's something special right
Factz is super cool, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and it's cool though. What the coolest part about Factz is the people he isn't cool with. It's the cool, like watching him be like the artist for certain people, but be like super cool with like people like me and other people that are in the circle. It's cool to watch him do that switch. And it's live, and it also shows that he respects me enough to just treat me like a normal human being. And I love that. I really appreciate that for sure. And he, you know, he's fun. He's a funny guy. His wife is super cool. Like, she's very hilarious. You know what I'm saying? She's about to two-piece somebody in Memphis. I won't go into it too crazy, but somebody tried to steal merch, man. She's about to hit him with the two-piece and the fries. I love it.
There we go.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, saying she could hold her own, which is an incredible thing. So, yeah, touring with Factz is really cool. Find somebody you can vibe with is very important, because I have toured with people you can't vibe with too much. And it could be a, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, no doubt.
Right on. So, yeah, Maison tomorrow night. I'm going to be in there. That's what time? 9 o'clock?
9 o'clock, man.
9
If you
o'clock.
want to get your tickets, make sure you go to mickeyfactz.tumblr.com. You can cop those tickets there, or underdogcentral.com/tour. Either way, copy your tickets. They're going fast, so make sure you come through, show some love. It's going to be live, man. If you like hip-hop, you like bars, cuz, come through and come get some bars.
Right on.
Yeah. It's the Rap Ryu back in the Bayou. April 19th, spitting haikus for my dudes. I'm inviting you. The people with nice shoes, flat tops, box braids, and even the Cailloux. Old folks, newborns, dumb nerds, and bright goons. Ignorant blacks getting money in suits, tycoons. If I lose, the world win. I call that a typhoon. So it's me and my girlfriend, but really she's my wife, who coming out to the Dragon's Den. Pardon me, it's Maison and it's after 10. 508 Freshman is where the jazz begins. I'll be sipping the pina colada with my rapping friend.
Whoa, I got somebody recording this right now and on audio, and I didn't know I was going to get a freestyle tonight, but I really appreciate that. That was dope.
I did that off of the phone because I forgot. I didn't memorize it. I don't like,
That's all good.
But if you wanted a freestyle, you could have just asked and we would have gave it to you.
Oh, maybe.
Hey, don't throw that pressure on me, man.
Come prepared next time.
I mean,
when y'all come through there next time, I'm going to throw a beat on, drop the FunkMaster Flex bomb.
Hey, yo, lyrical, spiritual, miracle, individual. I'm just kidding. But nah, man, Maison, David, thank you so much for having us,
Right
man.
on.
Maison tomorrow night, come through, show some love. You feel
So
me?
we're going to leave with one last record. This one's called Get It. What can you tell us about this one, Factz?
Well, I got a video coming out for this next week, and this was a record that I felt people needed to hear in terms of where I was in my career, 2006, just leaving my job, quitting school, and doing the In Search of the Nerd project, and it was a big turning point for me in my life. It was my first major mixtape, and it got the attention of Pharrell in the first project that I put out. So I felt like people needed to hear that particular story on this particular album. So I'm glad that we'll be able to play it for you right now.
Right on. And from the XXL class of 2009, that's Mickey Factz from the Bronx.